Okay, we're going to be talking about how to cite something. You're going to be responsible in this project for using a couple of direct quotes from things. And while it's, of course, important to keep track of the works that you're using and use citations, you're going to keep this list of works cited at some place, and you can use EasyBib for that. I want to show you how exactly you can integrate that into your project. So for an example project, I'm going to use a Spark video about pizza. So I have my two works here that are just samples of what your works cited page will look like in Google Docs as you do it. So I have my pizza research list right here. Now, I am using a quote from an article called I Ate a $2,000 Pizza and I Want It Again. It's from CNBC. So CNBC is the news organization that put this out, and the author is actually Robert Frank, and I'm going to show why that's important here in a bit. If you don't have the author, it's okay to just say Forbes wrote it. Obviously this one below doesn't have the name of the author, but if you do have the name of the author, you can go ahead and include that. So I want to use this quote because when you are eating a $2,000 pizza, there is no such thing as too much. Obviously, that's not my idea. I've never eaten a $2,000 pizza, but I imagine I would like it. So if I'm making a Spark video that is about how much I would like a $2,000 pizza, and no, this is not a $2,000 pizza. It's probably a $45 pizza from Papakino's because it's huge. I think it was that expensive, but it can feed like 8 people. So if I'm using this in my Spark video, I want to use a direct quote. I want to say, this person said that. So if I'm like saying something like, pizza is great, there's never enough pizza, you can never have the highest quality of pizza, and then I'm using an expert's opinion to back that up, I can directly put that quote in and say, CNBC's Robert Frank agrees with me. CNBC's Robert Frank says, because when you're eating a $2,000 pizza, there is no such thing as too much. And that's how you would include a direct quote in there. Sometimes you could put it on the screen, you could read it to somebody, but you need to say who it is that said that direct quote or that wrote that direct quote. And then at the end of your video, or at the end of your story or whatever, you would then put the works cited page. And unfortunately, this didn't work very well in terms of copying and pasting everything over from the pizza research. So I'm going to probably have to do a couple of scenes of the different works that I am citing because I did try to copy over the other citation to the Forbes website and it didn't go in, so I would just put it on the next slide. So there's a difference between using a source and directly quoting that source. I really want you in this project to both use sources for your own personal knowledge and to directly quote some sources based on what you'll see on your rubric. If you use the source at all, I really want you to include it in your works cited. The reason why you need to do this is because it's not just about taking someone's words, it's about taking someone's ideas. Now, Robert Frank has this idea that it is okay to eat a $2,000 pizza and it is delicious. I might personally disagree with Robert Frank. I might have a different idea, but that's an idea that belongs to him. He had the idea for that website, so I need to include that because even if I choose not to use that direct quote in my work, I need to make sure that someone knows that I reference that. If I were to completely get rid of this quote and say something like, it is ridiculous to use a $2,000 or to eat a $2,000 pizza, unlike what some people say, well, obviously I'm throwing shade at him. So I have to mention who it is that I'm actually trying to insult by that quote, right? It's not really insulting, it's having a different idea. But it's okay to have different ideas as long as you are disagreeing in a professional fashion, which is what you're doing when you're citing your sources. It really doesn't take that much time, and it gives me, as your audience to these projects, an idea where to find the rest of your information in case you repeat something that is untrue, and it also gives your the other people in your audience a chance to dig a little bit deeper into your subject and follow up with some of the things that you actually experienced yourself. So for example, if you are a person who is writing making a brochure or a video or something for an African farmer on how to adapt agriculture to climate change, that person might actually want to know a little bit more about how to adapt their farming practices due to climate change. So they might actually go to a different source. So it's multiple things. It's protecting yourself, it's giving your audience a chance to learn a bit more, and it's really important to do.